Okay, good morning everybody. It's Lindsay here from So Sweet Samuel. I know you can't, well you can see me, but I don't really want you to see me today because I want to make something with you today. I want to do a tutorial and show you how I go about making these lovely advent panels. I mentioned in my last video I would be making them, and somebody, I can't remember who, asked me if there was a tutorial available. And I did say there was one, but I don't think I ever linked it. So I'm going to show you today how I go about making them. So as you can see, I've made 3, and I'm just now about to make this one again, and I've got this ready to make another 2 times. Okay, so we're going to make this one together. It doesn't take a long time to make them if you get everything prepared in advance. Okay, this one I bought online on Instagram online. I wasn't overly impressed with the image to begin with on this one, but when it's all folded and sewn together, it's actually very nice, as you can see. So this one is for my sister. This one is for my mum. I love this one. It's a Winter Wonderland one. It's really pretty. This panel and all the others, that, well, the 4 red ones, no, three red ones that I have, all came from the cheap shop in Tiptree. You can buy from them if you're local to Essex, if you're in Essex and can visit Tiptree. Tiptree is lovely. It's famous for the jams. And if you can go to Tiptree to the cheap shop, or they do have an online shop. I did keep the piece of paper, it's over there on the table. So I bought these 2 I've made. I bought them in the shop. This one's for Rupert, so it's got a little tag on there, made by Grandma. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a tag on there that says made by Grandma. So this one and the blue one I brought in the shop with the backing as well. And then the 2 I've got to make with you today, I bought online because I have got some, but can I find them? No, I cannot. And I ordered them, and I think they were slightly more expensive buying them that way, but they're absolutely fine, it doesn't matter. And the delivery was super quick. I think I ordered them one day and they arrived the next day. But I didn't buy any backing fabric. I bought a single sheet, and I'm going to make the backing from a single sheet. So this is going to be true Blue Peter style today. Don't be shocked, I've got everything organised and ready. So I'm going to show you how you fold these up. And it's very important to take your time when you're folding. Time is of the essence, and also a nice hot iron and starch spray and lots of pins. That's what you need for doing this. So I need to move you so you can try and see what I'm doing. So if I now put you there, are you going to be able to see? Let me see what I can do. This is where we're not very professional. So can you see now what I'm doing? Yes, you can, just about. So let's move you back a bit. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing without falling. Don't fall off. So you've got your panel, and on your panel you've got fold lines. Okay, so iron your panel nice and flat, and you're going to spray your panel. Okay, so we've sprayed the panel with some starch. Excuse my hand. No, that doesn't help. Oh, okay. So spray your panel with your starch, give it another iron. Then you're going to fold. You've got fold lines on this panel where it tells you to fold. You've got 1 on either side. So you've got a fold line. You've got a fold line here and a fold line here. So basically what you're doing is you're folding up the panel. Put the iron over this side, see if we can do it this way. So you've ironed your panel and you're going to fold the panel up. So you're going to fold from the bottom up. So you're taking the bottom part and you're going to fold it up on itself to create your first line of pockets. Okay, this isn't going to work, is it? It will work, and I will be able to show you what I'm doing as we go on. And I have got one all folded. You know, I'm not very good at things like this. It works in my head, tutorials, but then when I come to do it, it probably doesn't ever work. And you probably think, why'd you bother? Keep trying to position you so you can see. Ah, right, if I go there, you can see a bit better there, can't you? Yeah. So I folded up my panel. So I'm creasing my panel at the side, and I'm going to fold my panel up. Okay, and it's just about taking your time. Oh, I know what I didn't do before I started recording, and I'm going to have to do it with you on the record now. Oh, it's so annoying. I might be able to press pause and carry on. I meant to wind up a whole roll of bobbin, and then pin every pocket. This is really vital. Pin every pocket as you go. I didn't do this on my first one. So pin every pocket as you're going, and pin the sides. And then you can just sort of manipulate them so you get them all into the right position. Okay, and we're going to pin down the side as well. So on one side of the fabric, you have a nice piece to attach your backing on. On the other side of the fabric, they're not as generous. Okay, then you're going to iron your next section and spray it again with the starch, and iron the next section. And we're going to fold again to make your second row of pockets. Okay, and that is all you're doing each time, is you're ironing, spraying, folding, and it is creating these lovely pockets that you can then fill up with whatever you want. So if you're making this for a teenage girl, you might want to fill it with small items of makeup. If you're filling it for a teenage boy, you could put vouchers in there, or you could just be traditional and put sweeties in there. If you're doing it for a toddler, you might want to mix it up. When Samuel was little, I used to put bubbles in there, toys in there, and sweets and things, but you do whatever you want to do. So I've got 2 rows of pockets pinned there, and I'm always pinning the sides as well. It just makes it easier for when you're sewing. Obviously, if you're a really competent seamstress, machinist, you might not need to pin as much, but you don't want anything moving out of line. So I've got 2 rows of pockets there. Can you see? I've got 2 rows of pockets created. So I'm going to take you over to the machine now, and I'm going to wind my bobbin up, move away. And my neighbours next door, they're having something done to their roof. I've got 2 men standing on the roof. One's been out there with a dustpan and brush or a broom sweeping the roof, and then we've got a leaf blower out and was hoovering the roof. I want to move away. So I've got 2 rows of pockets done. So we're going to have Blue Peter style, and we're going to have, here's one I made earlier. So can you see the pockets are starting to take shape, but can you see every pocket is pinned? Okay, so don't fall off of this stand because you're very precariously balanced now. So come with me. But unfortunately now I have to wind my bobbin up. So let's see if I can just pause you for a minute while I wind up the bobbin. Okay, I have got a pause button. So let's see if I can pause you. Right, hopefully, now I press pause and press play again, so I hope it's not starting a new video, because that'd be very, very annoying. I discovered I had enough in my bobbin, but I don't know if that's now started a new video, which would be annoying. So, which means if it has started a new video, it means I've got to piece it all together. Last week I was sewing and I kept losing the bobbin cover, and it's clear plastic. The older machines you have metal, so I got a Sharpie and I put a blue dot on the inside cover of my bobbin cover, so I don't lose this now when it's down on the tablecloth and I can't find it. I put a bit of Sharpie pen on there and managed to cover that. I couldn't find a spare bobbin. But all my bobbins are in a little something or other and I couldn't find it. Oh, I'm sure that has just started a new recording, which means I'm going to have to piece them all together, which I might have to wait for Samuel to do for me. It's definitely turning cold now. It was -2 this morning when I went out. Okay, so let's see if I can stand you up here. Oh, that makes you too high. Let's tilt you down. That's too high. You're not about to see what I'm doing. Let's get something to stand you on. So professional here, isn't it? I could get a job on a sewing channel. I'm so professional. Stand you down here. You don't really need to see what I'm doing now. Oh, look, you can see my machine. You're about to see it now. Okay, let's have a drink. So, here's one I made earlier. So here is the panel with all the pockets folded and every pocket is pinned. Now, top tip. When you are sewing, you need to sew down, not up. If you sew up, your pockets will runkle, and nobody wants a runkled pocket. Okay, so I'm going to start on the right hand side and I'm going to put the presser foot on the material and it goes right into the middle, and we're just going to start sewing. You're just going to have to listen to the machine sew, because I don't want to pause it again. I don't want to have to piece this together too many times. Okay, I'm going to go forward and backwards at the top of the pocket, just because if children are using this, the pockets are quite deep, but depending on what you're putting in them, could take a bit of strain on the pockets. You can remove pins as you go, or you can leave the pins until the end. It's up to you. So, this is when I've sewn it all, taken all the pins out, and then discovered my machine has unthreaded itself. How many times have I done that? I'm going to go along the bottom before I do up and down all the pockets. So you can put batting into your advent calendar just to give it a bit more body. I'm not bothering with that in mine. It does say on the instructions to add batting, but I'm not bothering with that on mine. Makes it heavier to hang, heavier to post if you're posting things. And I've already brought the post office quite a few times in the last couple of weeks. Move my machine closer. I don't know why I always sew and have my machine so far away from me. I always have to stretch. Oh. And pops off on the thingy. Now when I get to this corner, I'm going to double back, do some back stitches and cut that one off. I'm not going to go up the pockets because I've discovered with the other ones, if I go up the pockets, they tend to runkle, and I've had to unpick a few of them because I've had runkle pockets. So I've done down one side and across the bottom. So now I'm just going to go to the next set of pockets and start coming down the middle again, and again forward and back over the top stitch, over the first stitch. And if you see that your lines aren't quite straight or your pockets aren't quite lining up, you can just readjust a little bit. But if you've taken your time when you've been folding, they should all line up nicely. And back stitch at the bottom. Oops. I've always used fabric advent panels for years. I used to have one in my classroom at school, and they're just a lot cheaper than the paper advent calendars. She says after having spent an absolute fortune this year on sweets to go in 5 advent calendars this year, but they are cheaper, and when the children are younger you can personalise them as well if you don't want children to have a lot of chocolates. These pocket ones again are all machine sewn. Samuel's one, which I'll show you in Vlogmas, is all hand sewn and is beautiful, because even if I do say so myself, because I embellished every single pocket on that one, and then Mum put it all together because that was pre my machining days. So every pocket on Samuel's advent calendar is embellished with bells and bows and sequins, and it's beautiful. But I think Samuel is getting to that age where he doesn't want a fabric advent calendar anymore. He just wants a chocolate now. But when he was younger, like I said, there would be crayons in there, bubbles. A few years ago, he did have bath bombs in there and socks in there. That's how big the pockets are. So it doesn't have to just be chocolates. Do you just want chocolates in your one, Mum?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Mum just wants chocolates in hers. And my sister will just want chocolate in hers. I'm making one for my brother as well, because he came round and he saw Rupert's, which is the red one. And my brother is nearly 62, and I'm making one for my sister because obviously she's in the home, and thought it'd be nice for her to have one because I always buy her an advent calendar. And he saw Rupert's one and he said, I want one too. So he's got a red one as well because he'll want a childlike one. I'm not putting chocolates in his. He's having chewy sweets. He might get the odd chocolate, but he's a chewy sweet man like me. Well, I'm not a chewy sweet man. I'm a chewy sweet girl. But not after this week. 2 weeks ago, I had a tooth removed that wasn't causing me any trouble at all. I'm still in pain. Never going to the dentist again. I wouldn't mind, but the tooth wasn't hurting me before he took it out, and I clean my teeth minimum 2 times a day, if not 3 times a day. I'm taking Mum to the dentist, the same dentist, next Wednesday, and she sees the top man there, so I might be having a word with him because it'll be 3 weeks when I take Mum on Wednesday, so I might accost him and say, why is my mouth still sore? And with the cold weather, it's really painful now. Anyway. No, it didn't hurt at all before he took it out. Occasionally I get a bit of pain, but nothing like it is now. I mean, I know it's not there now, trust me. It really hurts, and the tooth next door to it really hurts as well. And I didn't get anything from the tooth fairy. Never going to the dentist again. I'm not. She said I will, but I'm not. And the annoying thing is, Samuel was meant to have 4 teeth taken out so he could have a brace. There's no way on this earth I will get him to have this brace now, because there's no way he will have teeth taken out, because he's got to have his teeth taken out at this dentist. Him having seen me and the state I've been in, there's no way he'll have these teeth removed. And the thing is, we changed to this dentist last year because they're meant to be really good. The only time I missed dentist appointments was during COVID, when they couldn't see us. And then our dentist, she was a pain. She kept cancelling all the time. But woe betide you, cancel an appointment. Right, got the last panel to do. If anybody's still there, you probably all switched off. Me moaning. Right, last bit, last strip, and then we'll be finishing off. See, these really are so quick. They honestly are so quick to do. Much quicker than the old ones where you're sewing on every pocket individually. Okay, so that's all the strips done. So what we have to do now is we now have to attach the ribbons. So I've already prepared the ribbons, but I'm just going to get, this one will have to be my brother's, because for my little great nephew I need to prepare a tag. That's it. He calls me Auntie Grandma. So I need to prepare a little tag that says made by Auntie Grandma for him. So this will have to be my brother's one. So I'm just going to take out all the pins quickly. In this one. Oops. So how are you all getting on with all your Christmas preparation? Are you all done? I've still got one more sewing gift to make, well, 2 more sewing gifts to make. Got one to completely start and one to finish for Rupert. We're going up to see Rupert next weekend, take up his advent calendar and his jumper, so I'll have to get on here to show you his jumper next week. That's all done. I've just got to make the nose and the scarf. But the actual knitting is all done. My assistant will be sewing it up later, won't you, assistant? Mother? You'll be sewing it up later, won't you? If you say so, do. Yes, I do. Okay, so I've had some little tags made with So Sweet Samuel on. So I'm going to attach one of these to the panel. So just fold it in half. and you're going to attach it to a side. I'm going to attach it there. We're going to baste these in place before we put the backing on, just so they don't move. Now, I cut my ribbons. My first one that I did, I cut the ribbons 30 centimetres long, and that was too long really. So these ribbons I've cut 20 centimetres long. So what you need to do, so my pockets are all sewn. So just check the back is beautiful. This is the back of the panel, so there's no wrinkles in the back of the panel. Is that a wrinkle down the bottom? No. No, there's no wrinkles in the back. And there's the front. So all the pockets are all sewn on. It's a real shame. You've got all these lovely images on the side. There's gingerbread house, a bell and an elf. And then these tags that I thought you could use these tags as hanging tags. But if you cut them off, you've got nothing really to attach your backing to, because this is all you've got this side for the backing. So that's why I left these on, just to give me a bit more room for attaching the backing. So if you want to now, you could put what's that thick stuff called? Batting on. I haven't put batting on any of these. I think the one I made for Samuel had batting just to quilt it, but I haven't put batting on these because you're not quilting anything. So to attach your ribbons, you need to take your top part of your panel and you need to fold from the edge where the border is to the other edge. So you can fold it in half to get and crease it so you can get the centre for your first ribbon. And I've cut 5 ribbons at 20 centimetres. Okay, open it up and fold your ribbon in half and place your first ribbon where you put that crease and place it on the borderline where you're going to be sewing. No, place it on that borderline where you're going to be sewing. Because we're going to tack them across the top. So I placed it here. I'm going to tack it across the top, but when we come to sew, we're going to place our presser foot in the middle of this line, like we did on our edges here. You can't see because I've used red thread. We're then going to take 2 more ribbons, fold them in half, and we're going to come in from the border. We're going to come in about 1 inch. We're just going to eyeball this. So from the border, this ribbon is 1 inch thickness. So I'm going to place it there and I'm going to move across 1 inch and I'm going to place my ribbon on my border. And then I'm going to do the same again at the other end. You could measure it, but I'm just eyeballing this one. We can all judge about 1 inch. And then your last 2 ribbons, you do need to measure these. So fold them in half. Take your border again, and taking your border and your central ribbon here, you're going to take this border and you're going to fold it so it is at the edge of your center ribbon and crease, and that's where your 4th ribbon's going to go. And I'm going to put it to the right of that crease, and then take your final ribbon, take the opposite side, take your border and take it across to Santa or whoever's in your centre, crease it, and I'm going to put it to the right of that crease. And then you've got 5 hanging ribbons there again if you want 5 ribbons, if you're happy with 3 ribbons, or if you want to top it in a different way. So I've got 5 ribbons and they're all pointing downwards. It's important that they're all pointing downwards so that they all get tucked inside the backing when we come to back the fabric. So I'm just going to put this back on the machine now, and we're just going to baste these in place, just so that when we come to put the backing on, these ribbons are not going to move. So I'm going to sew these right at the top of the ribbon. I'm not going to go forward and backwards over them because it's just to hold them in place just while we put the backing on. So once my presser foot is down, I'm just going to remove the pin. So the next one in place. And the next one. So yeah, I've got one more present to start and finish. I've got a present to finish, and then I'd like to be all done so that over Advent I've got a cross stitch advent calendar that I would like to, cross stitch advent calendar, and I've got my Lay Family Yarn advent calendar, which I'm still waiting for. I've never known an advent calendar to be so late in arriving. It's all paid for. It's all paid for in instalments. I did message Kelly from Lay Family Yarn, and she said it would be here end of November, beginning of December, which is a bit concerning really, when you think it should be here before that, but hopefully it'll arrive in time. You all right, Mother? Okay. Okay, so everything is just basted in place now. All the ribbons are just basted in place. Okay. So what we need to do now is we need to put the backing on. Oops. I'm just a bit muddy. Got my Christmas mug out. Got my mug from Emma Bridgewater that I had personalised, Mrs. Christmas. I'm wearing my Whitmore jumper. I nearly said Whitmore Way. I used to work in a school in Whitmore Way. I nearly said my Whitmore Way jumper. So I brought a single sheet because it worked out cheaper. So I brought a red single sheet. It's 100% cotton. Oh, I didn't tell you how much this cost. So from the cheap shop online, the 2 panels cost me £21.50. So if you can go there, it's probably cheaper to go there. But it's still not too bad. So I've cut my backing material and I'm going to be attacked by all the thread. Are you all right?
Yeah.
So you wanted a tissue. What have you done?
I nodded off.
You nodded off? Oh, you spilt your tea. Oh, yeah. Mother. I always tell her, watch your tea, you're going to fall asleep. And because I'm not in the lounge with her, she spilt her tea all down her. What you like? All over her trousers. So, here it is in all its glory. So, yesterday I was getting in such a mess with the blooming ribbons that I've cut this backing panel bigger. So, lay your panel face down onto your material. And make sure everything is flat and smooth, and then pin, but leave an opening at the bottom as your turning gap. Okay, so make sure everything is flat. it should all be beautifully flat anyway. So I'm just going to pin this. So let's just all have a chat. So if you are watching this, I think the new thing now is leave a word, isn't it? If you've watched to the end. So shall we have panel as our word? So if you do get to the end of this, if you haven't all run away scared witless, leave the word panel. Let me know if you're going to have a go. Let me know if this awful tutorial has been any good. I know you haven't been able to see everything, but hopefully by me holding things up, it's helped you. So I'm pinning away from the border, just so you haven't got to worry too much about moving your pins, and you can leave them all in situ. So I'm pinning back into the pockets as I'm going round. And I am going to cut this piece of material. I can't cope with big long pieces of material to work with, but I just cut a long strip of fabric when I was just cutting this off this morning. I think bed sheets are the way to go for backing material. It's definitely cheaper, far more economical. You can pick them up in supermarkets. Pillowcases. You could get nice festive ones at this time of year as well if you wanted to keep it all in keeping. And I think you get far more for your money with a sheet than you would do buying a metre of material as well. Right. I don't know where my scissors are. Oh, they're there. They're on the table. So yeah, let's have panel as our word if you get to the end of this video. You haven't run away screaming into the hills. So I'm going to pin 2 pockets with my pins in a different direction. So I know that I'm not going to sew there. And I'm using these long quilting pins. Right. And I'm just going to cut across my bottom. So I don't need that piece for now. Okay, so that's all pinned on there. Okay, so you can see that's all pinned on there. Now the beauty of this is that, that you will be able to see where to sew on this panel. So I'm going to put my presser foot right in the middle of this red border, and that is where I'm going to sew. So I'm just going to put my presser foot on here, and the needle will naturally end up in the middle of this border. Okay, so it will, when it comes down and hits the pockets, it will just go over these edge pockets again, over these edge stitches again, so it'll reinforce them. And then can you see these two blue pins here? I'm not going to sew there because that will become my turning hole. Okay, and I've managed to leave, this side's got a lot, but I've managed to leave a good turning, a good edging there as well. So just finish my tea and then we'll whiz this round on the machine. And then we're very nearly done. So see how quickly this has taken. Hasn't taken any time at all. If you get all your preparation done in advance, it's ever so quick. With this one, it doesn't matter if you go up or down because you're only doing the side pockets now and it's all sewn and secured anyway. Okay, so I'm going to start at the turning hole. So I'm going to start just past the turning hole and then I can come back to that turning hole. So I've just placed my presser foot on the red line, and when I lower the needle, it'll automatically be in the middle of that red line. I'm going to go forwards and backwards to secure that, and then we're off. Just making sure everything is lying flat. Get to the corner, leaving the needle down and just turning as we go. picking up pins off the table. I'm notorious. I don't do it on purpose, but pins tend not to make it into the pin cushion. Just making sure these ones are lying flat. Go back up the sides. I'm hoping that I do find the other advent panels I brought and I can get them stitched up at some point. Not this side of Christmas now, I don't think. Everybody that I know that would want one has now got one. And I'm probably all advent panelled out now. So now my presser foot, I'm at the top now, and where I had stitched the ribbons in, my stitching is now going to go below those ribbons, below where I'd stitched the ribbons, so I know that the ribbons are nice and secure. Pre-COVID, this would never have entered my head to be able to do this. So that's one positive that came out of COVID for me, that I learnt how to use my sewing machine. I started by making scrub bags for my friend. No, I started making masks for the family on my machine, and then I started making scrub bags for my friends that worked in the NHS, and then I made a dress. And then the rest, as they say, is history. But pre-COVID, I wouldn't have even entertained doing this. I'm going to have, yesterday I had all knee pins stuck up my jumper. So just coming down the final side now. My stitching is now matching up with my pockets, my side pocket. Just going to come across the bottom to my marker pins where I know I'm not going to stitch any further. So I'm just coming up to those. So I'm just going to go forward and back on there because I'm going to be putting my hand up there. I don't want to burst the stitches. Raise the needle. Now I'm going to take out all my pins. And take out all my pins, and then I'm going to remove some of the excess fabric. I'm going to move you down here now so you can see a bit better now. Don't fall off. Sit still. I told you not. Oh, video stopped itself. You were about to fall and I managed to press stop. So this is going to be in at least 2 parts, if not 3 parts now, isn't it, this video? So I'm just removing all the pins out of the fabric. That's so annoying now. So I've now got to piece together 3 bits of video. If I can't do it, Samuel's going to have to do it. But I'll give it a go. I should be able to do it, shouldn't I? I'm quite tech savvy. If there's graphics on here, you know Samuel's done it. If it comes to you as 3 separate videos, you know I've done it. He did say he would do it for me. Right, so now we're going to take off the excess material. I'm going to use pinking shears. If you don't have pinking shears, you don't need to use pinking shears. I just like the sound they make, and it takes me back to when I was little. And I remember my mum used to give me pinking shears. I don't know whether they were her fabric pinking shears, but I remember sitting, we used to live in Wales, and sitting by the fire and using pinking shears to cut up pieces of paper. I love the sound they make. And I think it stops the fabric from fraying as well. So if you haven't got pinking shears, don't run out and buy a pair. Just use your regular fabric scissors. But I like the sound, but you don't need them. So just cut off the excess. There's a little bit of white here, don't cut the red. There's a little bit of white that we can easily lose, and you need to give your corners a diagonal cut. Okay, and then truth will be revealed. Has this worked? Should have made enough of them this week. That's another thing, having this tooth removed. I lost a good week of crafting time because I just couldn't craft with the pain. I was just sitting there with a hot water bottle on my face, moaning. I know you couldn't imagine me moaning. I know. Like, not you. You wouldn't moan. Okay. Oh dear. When you're going through lots of layers, it's a bit tricky, but we can do it. We can do it. But it does hurt my hands. It really hurts my hands going through that many layers of fabric. So when you're doing the folds at the side and you're going through lots of layers, it really hurts your hand. Just across the bottom now, making sure you're leaving enough to fold up your bottom, because obviously you've got to close up your turning space as well. Right, move that all to one side. Okay, I'm not going to bother cutting off the threads on the back because they're not going to be seen. Now put your hand into your turning space. You'll need a pokey tool or a chopstick or a knitting needle, but if you're using a knitting needle, I'm going to move you up a bit now because I can hold up things to show you. If you're using a knitting needle or chopstick or something, just be very careful that you don't pop your stitches in the corner. So reaching into the corner and just grab your top corner. You will need to just poke it out as well. Pull that through and then going back in and get the opposite corner. Pull that through. I must remember I've got to, on Robin's one, do his special tag because he calls me Auntie Grandma because he's got great grandma through there, and he's got his grandma, which is my sister. So I think he thought everybody was called Grandma. That's how I got the title Auntie Grandma, because I'm great grandma, but that's how I got the title Auntie Grandma. So I can't put a grandma sticker on there. So I'm just going to label it up with Auntie Grandma for him. If anybody is in Devon, my niece, who is Devon Diaries, she's in Babacoombe, and she's on the 29th of November. She'll be opening up a yarn shop called Yarnology. It'll be open Thursday nights, Friday, Saturday and Sunday in the village or town of Babacoombe. So if anybody is in Devon or Cornwall and you're looking for a yarn supplier, she is opening up a yarn shop. Midnight Diaries. No, she's no longer Midnight Diaries. She's Devon Diaries now. So if you're looking for yarn, pop along and support Gemma, or pop along and see her channel. So there we have it. There is our advent panel with its ribbons and its little So Sweet Samuel tag on the side. So all I need to do now is I'm going to give that another quick press, and I'm just going to sew the bottom up, and I will just top stitch all around the edge, but you don't need to see me do that. So I will give that a press, I will starch it, and I will remove all the threads, all the loose threads, but you don't need to see me do that. You know how to close up a hole and how to top stitch. But thank you for watching me today. I hope this has helped you if anybody wants to make a advent panel. So like I say, I brought these panels and the blue panel from the cheap shop in Tiptree. It is a fantastic shop in Tiptree. It's like an Aladdin's cave of crafting. Everything you could imagine that you want to buy from there is available in the cheap shop. Whether it is wool, fabric, doll's house making, cake decorating, paper crafting, everything is available from there. And they do have a lovely online shop as well. Very quick delivery. If you ordered it today, it would probably be with you tomorrow. And you can see how quickly I have made a beautiful heirloom pocket advent calendar. So you could easily get one of these made before Christmas. So thank you for joining me. Remember, our key word today is panel. So if you got to the end of this video, leave me a like, a comment, and if you're new here, maybe you'd like to subscribe and support my little channel. Thank you ever so much. See you soon. Bye for now.